ठीक है देख लो या
सब बैक कर दो प्रेजेंट it's already broadcasted live control room open this one you can see the chats
so after I finish where is this
refresh 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 the page this one
where do we see the chats
scroll up it's already broadcasted అయిపోయిన తర్వాత స్టాప్ బ్రాడ్కాస్ట్ చేయండి
Hi, good morning, everybody. A quick introduction. I am Vikram Singh. I am the Dean for the MBA ESG program here in India. And today's webinar is, as you would have received the topic, which is sports management as a lucrative career path. I must say that this generation has a unique opportunity of riding another new sunshine sector. A decade ago, which started as an IT, today I see that happening to the sports. So we will go in detail. Before that, we will first understand that what EMBA ESG is all about and why have MBA ESG has shown interest in the Indian market, and what research work has gone through, basis which we are saying that the sports management has become a lucrative career path for many sports enthusiasts. MBA ESG is a French university, a global degree. So the global partner is the Galileo, which is the global education leader. A little brief about Galileo here is that Galileo operates in 8 countries, which is France, the origin, Italy, UK, Germany, Mexico, China, India, and Senegal. Galileo provides higher education in the fields of applied arts, design, communication, and various management subjects. The Galileo Studialis network in numbers are, as you can see, there are 48 schools worldwide where Galileo trains around 40,000 students every year in different domains of arts, design, communication, and management. There are already 100,000 alumni who are available, for the prospective students to reach out to. There are 31 teaching campuses. There are 38 certified degrees in France. There are 280 international partners who work with Galileo Studialis' network. Enrolling, the best part of the Galileo education leader being an education leader is that if you enroll in any program, this makes you a part of the Galileo Studialis' network. And you have access to all these numbers which I have shared just now. Let's hear about the MBA ESG. As I've said in the previous slide, that the programs offered are in various fields of art, design, communication, And my focus of today's presentation will be on the MBA ESG, which offers all the management programs. And one of the management programs, which is very relevant also to the career of, career path for becoming a sport management, is the MBA in sports management. MBA ESG is Europe's leading business school. It ranks among the top business schools of Europe. It has over 30 years of experience in producing talented business professionals across the field. Very efficient, interactive tools which are made available to students, which enables them to fulfill the needs of the changing business landscapes of the world, especially in the last 5 years and also in the coming few years. The student develop an in-depth knowledge and skills in the areas of finance, marketing, and management in broad. There are over 14,000 alumni intergenerational assistance to former and current student. As I have mentioned in my previous slide, there are over a lakh alumni, 100,000 alumni who are available, of which there are 14,000 alumni who are with respect to the business programs. And the best part of this is that if you are a student in India, you get access to these alumni who provide the intergenerational assistance, to students, former students, and also the current students. The important point here to note is that we have not planned the activities only for the current student. Once you join the program, you become a part of this entire network, which also means that after you finish your program, when you are an alumni, we give you equal help wherever it is required in terms of providing inputs and informations and management, which we bring. Let's go a little in detail. So to understand why sport management MBAs, which MBA ESG decided to start here in India, comes from a lot of research work which we have done in the Indian market. The next big industry in India is sports, and get ready for it. Sport is regarded as one of the largest industries globally in terms of employment and revenue. The business of sports is a multi-billion dollar which are offered through various sporting leagues in India, such as IPL, Hockey India League, Indian Badminton League, Pro Kabaddi League, Indian Super League, which is football, and many more finding a solid footing in India. So to get some numbers to understand, because without having seen numbers, if somebody says that the sports industry is growing, it is very difficult to relate to us, plain English. So industry in India grew by 19.33% in 2016, which is from INR 5,363.3 crore in 2015 to 6,400 crore. The sports analytical market is expected to generate about $616.7 million by 2021. This is another lucrative area of study and work which one can think of, especially students who have good analytical skills. The rising Indian middle class is projected to spend 10% of its wallet in sports education and recreation by 2050. And how this is possible is not just by the private partnership, but also the government partnership, because government is creating required infrastructures in terms of stadiums, training facilities, sporting bodies, which were there before. Now they are, taking it more aggressively on this, also promoting the statement saying that Khelo India, where the meaning is very simple, that sports is equally important along with your studies. So you can imagine students who are getting exposed to sports right from their schools and colleges. Many of them would want to make a career also. And all this has become possible because of these various leagues which have started off late. Back in the days, cricket was the only sports which all of us were, related to. But now, with the introduction of various other leagues in various other areas of football, kabaddi, marathon, and other small sports, has increased the interest in the sporting industry. Now, why France for sport? MBA ESG is it's a French, university from France. So why France is a good question which might have arrived in your mind. France is home to some of the world's most popular and well-established sporting events, such as Tour de France, Paris Half Marathon, Garmin Triathlon de Paris, Ice Hockey Championship, French Open at Roland Garros. These are some of the major sporting leagues. France is also set to host over 12 World Championships and 13 European Championships between 2015 and 2018, which many of these have happened already and many have lined up in the coming months. This is a clear indication that France is the leader in the management and promotion of professional sports. They have been there, done that, and this is the very expertise which they wish to bring into India. Now let's look at the sports management program here in India. How many of you would have already spoken to the admissions team here in understanding the course curriculum and the delivery of the program. So I will only highlight the important part of the sport management which we have started here, and a little information about the official knowledge partner, which is DNA. If you have any queries, please hold on to that. After finishing the presentation, we will have quality time to answer all your queries. So the courseware which we have prepared here is vetted by the French and the Indian sports industry, because it is very important that we also understand that how much of the development and professionalism which is already been there in France can be brought back to India, considering that India is different and not like France. We need to adopt some of the best practices which are followed there, but might have to get tweaked for our requirement here in India. So that is why the course curriculum which we have prepared is vetted by the French and the Indian sports industry, so that we can give you a mix of French and Indian industry professionals and faculties from both the countries, exclusively teaching you the program. The program also involves a 2-week Paris trip for a ringside view of the sport management in France. My current batch of 8 students are on a 2-week trip for France, and I've been hearing a lot of raving reviews about the trip which they are currently taking up. Some of the companies which students have mentioned they have visiting are like sports24.com, Lagarde, the Amazon Deal, Ben Next Sport, VIP Consulting. So they are meeting the directors of marketing, facilities management, and people from various domains to understand and get a 360-degree view of the sporting management and how the businesses are conducted by these companies. The program is endorsed by DNA Entertainment Networks. I don't have to give an introduction to DNA. It is India's leading sports management organization. So in terms of skill development and the delivery of the program, we do it with DNA. The program includes many projects and internships with industry networks, which we have already developed here in India, and also France, where we already have. The employment opportunities with global sport companies outside, these are international jobs, and also there are many of these international companies have set up the companies here in India. So you will have an opportunity of working in India and also in France. The master's diploma from MBA ESG and a degree from an Indian university is what you get at the end of your program. And as I've said, you also get an alumni access to an alumni network of over 1,000 professionals who work in reputed companies such as Nike, Reebok, Lacoste, and the other companies where I have said the currently students are visiting. So, to understand the career path in the sports management industry, I have listed out here some of the hot sports jobs which one can look for after the end of the program. So these jobs essentially are sports analyst, sports PR officer, sports account executive, sports event coordinator, sports development officer, sports marketing and branding manager, and many more. We have a placement office here, a career cell. They help all the students with respect to the internships and also the the final placement. We follow a very interesting model here because some of you might be thinking that do I fit into sports analyst as a sports analyst? Because some of you might not have a very strong analytical background. Okay, some of you might have a strong PR skills. So where do you use that? Some of you might have a great coordinator skills. Okay, some of you might be great, communicator and, take up jobs in the roles of marketing and become branding managers. So it is essential that we first understand that each of these sports jobs, what are the prerequisites? What are the core skill sets does these jobs demand? And as we have already mapped that, once you are on the program, during the process of the program, while you are doing your program, we match these skill sets and then try to see that how many of these skill sets do you have. People with relevant skill sets will be helped and advised further on each of these sports jobs. And during your program, you can work towards it so that eventually by the end of the program, you get an opportunity to give a shot at some of these hot jobs with the companies here in India and also abroad. Important details, admission details. The eligibility criteria for admission is you need to be a graduate in any stream from a recognized university. Students who have finished their exams and are awaiting for results can also apply. The duration of the program is 2 years and it is a full-time program, and your investment is 3,85,000 per year. This does not include your trip to Paris, which will cost you around 2 lakhs. for your boarding and food and lodging. Now, the internships and placements. Why these internships and placements are important is very important to understand. And internships essentially help you to gain experience. So one of the key differentiator of MBA ESG is that we very strongly believe that people can acquire knowledge, but to acquire skill set, you need a lot of practical exposure in the industry. Sitting in a classroom, learning online, theory subjects, it is good to add knowledge to yourself, but if you're not practicing this knowledge on the ground, this knowledge might not be of a great help either to you or even to your prospective employer. A prospective employer will really be happy when he sees that you have knowledge, which is definitely required. Added to that, the skills, if you have, which supports that knowledge, that is a great need of also the hour. Now, how we add these skill sets to you, apart from the knowledge, are through the internships and placements. So some of the companies where our current batch have already done their internships, they have done, some have gone to Bangalore FC, Games Unlimited, Decathlon, IPL, ISL. So we provide opportunities for students depending upon their backgrounds and the kind of job they want to get into in the industry with internships. Okay, which essentially, develop your relevant skills, you gain more practical exposure and experience, and more important, you make connections and strengthen your resume. The placements, career service, as I mentioned earlier, will help you assess your strengths and skills required for different jobs and help you chart a career path in that direction during your program. So some of the international recruiters are, as I mentioned already, that we have alumni in Nike, Reebok, Lacoste, Decathlon, etc. And all these are big names which we already have been hearing in India since very long. Okay, so it will be easy for us to, put you through the placement process there. But beyond international, some of the important Indian recruiters which you also should be aware of are, of course, the DNA Networks, who is a knowledge partner, the IPL, the MRF Sports Academy, and there are various, sporting federations in India, EduSports, and there are 40 other companies who are in India. We keep receiving calls and emails from many of these sporting companies asking students for internships, projects, and and also for the placements. So for admission inquiries, please feel free to call us on the number given here, which is 963-871-1120. And there's also an email ID. You can write an email here. And there's a website. You can log on to the website to get more information about the program, the curriculum. And if you like to visit in person, please feel free to walk into our office. This is our admissions office. We have partnered with iNurture Education Solutions Private Limited, and which is near Mount Carmel Women's College. So you're free to drop in here to have more one-to-one discussion with me to understand if you are ready for this new sunrise industry. So here I will stop my presentation, and now I'll open up for the questions and answers. So if you have queries, you can start asking me on an email. Apparently, a lot of disturbance.
No, disturbance is not. So you.
No, इसको खत्म कर देता हूँ.
Oh. You read the question and answer directly
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
instead of typing.
Okay.
This person has asked this question.
Okay. You do that now? So I hope you are able to hear me. What I will do is instead of typing, I will take these. I will answer to your queries. Anand Kumar, your question is the Paris trip a paid visit? Yes, it is. It will cost you around 2 lakhs. So the tuition fees which I had mentioned, that does not include the trip. So put together, the entire program will come around 9.5 lakhs. So on a top side, say 10 lakhs. Sharath, your question, bringing the Europe in India, how is the same degree we get? You get two certificates here. One is a certificate from India, and the second one is certificate from MBA ESG. So if your concern is, how valid is the degree from India in Europe, you have a backup, which is a certificate from MBA ESG, which itself is a French university. Sumant, your question is, well, regarding placement after the degree, will the institution assure about 100% placement? Suman, it is very difficult to say that everybody will 100% get placement. What we can definitely assure you 100% is an opportunity where you will sit in front of the companies and we will help you in your preparation for that day's interview. But that day, at that time, it all depends upon your performance and how well do you deal with the interview panel. Manjeet, your question, what about loan? If you can help us to provide, yes, we will give you the relevant document, and because it is an AICT approved program, banks will be happy to give you the bank loans. Anand says your voice is echoing, sir.
That he has to.
Anand will work this out maybe for the next time. I don't know why it is echoing.
You can ask him. You can ask him to send a mail to you.
Yeah, Anand, if you have queries, as I have shared as we have shared the email ID, which is admissions@mbaesg.in, please write an email to me and I'll be more than happy to address your question. If there are any important questions which I have not answered here, which have gone back in the trail mails, please feel free to mail us. We'll be more than happy to provide you additional information and relevant information with respect to your questions. Akshay Verma, you say, hello sir, I have taken admission for the batch 2018-20 and if I want to pursue PhD in the field after a few years of job, will it be helpful? Absolutely, it will be helpful. And one of the minimum requirement to pursue a PhD is that you have to have done a master's. Frank Rodriguez, after computer engineering, can this be helpful to do MBA? Absolutely. As I had shown you the statistics for sports analytics, and engineers come with a very strong analytical background and they can play a very important role. If you have seen that every sports league, every sports team would need an analytical team to help them assess the performances of the players and many other areas. And engineers with strong analytical background play a very important role there. So yes, it is very helpful. Sumant, what's the strength in the present batch? I mean, total number of students. There are 8 students, Sumant, in the current batch. And now we already have 20 students registered for our program, and we have very limited seats available. So I would urge you all, those who are seriously interested in taking up admission for the upcoming batch, to put in your application as sooner as possible, so that you finish entire admission process and get an admission offer letter with which you can process your bank loans and be in the program. Ali Mahfouz, I am doing my bachelor's in sports management from Mumbai. How will doing this course be different? Ali, well, I don't know how is the program offered from whichever Mumbai, management school where you're doing this program. But what we highlight about our program is, as I said, the skill development. So we do not only give the knowledge, okay, but our concentration and focus is equally on the skill development. And skill development happens only with when you get an opportunity to go into the industry and get an opportunity to implement your classroom learning outside on the ground. And you actually, when you hit the floor, that's when you realize how much of your classroom learning is realistic and what tweakings are required to make things work for that particular problem, and which is our core strength here. Charu Gupta, hello sir, how sports management is helpful in Olympic committee or Olympic management? It indeed is very helpful, because there are not many, great universities or institutions of offering a sports management program which is on par with the similar courses offered outside India. So this essentially will be your added advantage on others who want to make themselves be a part of Olympic team. And we have members who are from Olympic committees on board. So one of the other things which we do apart from internships and placements services is bringing the real industry professionals who give lectures, seminars, who share their journey of from where did they start and today where they are, and what did it take for them to arrive there. Any entrance exam is qualified, Manjeet? Yes. Usha, Akula Chinna Usha, is it compulsory classroom training or there are any part-time degrees options available? No, we do not offer any part-time degrees at the moment. Anirudh Menon, sir, is MBA ESG new in India? What I am asking is, was it recently established? Yes. 2016 is when MBA ESG decided to, or rather Galileo decided to come to India. And as Galileo has schools of different specialities, which is sports, design, engineering, and management. So we have courses which are offered by different schools. And the first program which was launched last year was MBA in sports management, where we currently have 8 students who are currently in France for their 2-week study tour. Is there any entrance exam? Frank, no, there is no entrance exam requirement to join the program. Manjeet, how will be faculty members? Well, what can I say? We are bringing faculties, which is, we work on a portfolio model, which is a combination of industry specialists from India coming and teaching, plus also professionals coming from France coming and teaching here. So you get the best of India and Europe. Shivani, what if I'm interested in particular sport like baseball, softball, but also I want to know about other sports? Am I capable of doing sports management? Absolutely, Shivani. You are capable of doing it. So sports will cover all the sports. So we do not, the course curriculum what we have designed does not address only to cricket or only to football or only to hockey or only to kabaddi. So we teach you the management of sports, which is applicable for all the sports and all the leagues which are happening. Manjeet, I am doing engineering and data science course. How will it be useful? As I had addressed one of the similar queries to Frank, where Frank asked that, I am an engineer. How will that be of a help in the program? Sports analytics, as I said, is, growing by leaps. And there, people with your background are of a great demand. So the sports analytics market is expected to generate about $616.7 million, by 2021. And which is essentially where people with your background fits in quite well. And industry want people like you to come and work in their teams. No, Shivani, you do not have to. SMAT is not required. Charu, one more question. Equipment's design syllabus is there in your sports management course, like how to make ball, stick, and the material which is used to make the equipment. I am not sure in what length it is covered, but as I've said that we bring the industry specialists to come here and give lectures and seminars. Okay, and India being one of the biggest exporter of sporting goods to Europe, US, and many other countries, we certainly can bring professionals. I personally know a couple of big exporters whom I can bring on board, who can come and share all these details, apart from what is being taught in the class. Ishan Patil, I am state volleyball referee. Will it be helpful to me for volleyball? I personally feel yes, it will be, because having a degree which is a combination of India and French will add a lot of value in your future career growth. Shubham Bunty, I have done my bachelor's in mechanical. So if your question is, are you eligible for the program? Yes, you are. Frank Rodriguez, any scholarship and accommodation facilities available? Accommodation, yes, Bangalore being a cosmopolitan city, so many students from different parts of the country and even outside the country settle quite well here. So there are many housing facilities available, and we will provide you help with respect to finding a good accommodation for yourself. Akula Chinnausha, for any sports background, people, any additional value is added if they choose this degree. So this is a question like, should I do a PMP certification or not? So there are so many people who have done project management, but unless you have a certification, you are not outside, so many who do the project management courses. So how do you differentiate yourself? If you want to stand outside the crowd, and if employers have to get a focus on you, then when you have these degrees, that will be your differentiating factor. And these will attract more eyeballs on your profile and resume. Shubham Bunty, but now I am doing my master's in sports management in Australia, but I'm planning to come back in India. What would you suggest? Shubham, it is difficult for me to give you any suggestion at this stage because I will have to understand what are you doing in. So you are doing sports management in Australia, but why do you want to come back? Do you want to come back leaving the program, or I don't know the reason? And this being a public platform, I think you might want to have a personal chat with us. So do write to us, and my team will schedule a call with you, and we can have a more one-to-one chat so that I understand the context why you want to return to India and accordingly advise you. Samir Sawant, what is the scope of sports management in the future? Like India, is there a boom for it? Samir, I have sports industry data which I have collected, in the past. And you'll be thrilled to see how the sporting industry has grown and what is the total industry size. So in year 2016, the ground sponsorships were 1,165 crore. In 2017, this grew to 1,337. The team sponsorship was 700 crore. It grew to 819 crore. The franchisee was 548, it grew to 684. The media spends was 3,511 crore, it grew to 4,065. So in a nutshell, the total industry size had grown from 6,400 crore to 7,300 crore. So as far as the future of the sporting industry or the sports management careers are concerned, it is only going to go up, and that is the reason why I had also said that your generation has a unique opportunity of riding another new sunrise sector, which is the sporting industry, and also the fact that it is not just the private players who are coming into it. None of these sectors will be seen as a sunrise until the government equally contributes into it. So if you see the government's contribution, of late they have done a lot of work in the scheme of Khelo India, where they are encouraging school students, college students, and telling them that how sports is equally important apart from your studies. And they are in fact even going to an extent of saying that these also will get graded. They are creating infrastructures, they are creating sporting facilities, not just in metro cities, but even in tier 1 and tier 2. And all these eventually has to be managed by a lot of sporting professionals, and which is what our program will prepare you for. Raghav, hello sir, it being a French college, what influence is that having on this course and degree? Also, what is the scope of us being placed in the French market? Raghav, because Galileo is from France, and because MBA ESG is a sport management program designed with the help of professionals from France and India, you certainly will have that edge of learning the best from the French partners there, and also along with our Indian partners here. One thing which you have to understand is if you wish to work in France, you need to have a very good knowledge of their local language, local first language, which is France. So if you have good French, good hold on the French language, yes, there will be good opportunities for you to work in France as well. And along with the program, we have also identified the need of students knowing the French language. So we also offer the French language as a part of your program. Frank Roderick, what type of jobs or posts do we get after completion of this MBA? Let me read out to some of the unexploited opportunities in the sports industry. The opportunities in sports never restrict to sports good manufacturing. The unexploited opportunities are, in the area of professional sports, sports goods, sports retailing, fitness training, sports tourism, amateur and recreation sports, sports medicine. And some of the hot jobs in these, sporting industries are like sports analyst, sports PR officer, sports account executive, sports event coordinator, sports development officer, sports officials, sports facility manager, athletic equipment manager, athletic program fundraising, development director, business manager for sports team, clubhouse manager, sports facility manager, marketing manager, advertising director, professional sports, and so on. Razik, which skills needed in sports management? So we will have to, as I have said in the past, Razik, that different jobs would need different skill sets. So we have people here who have mapped this entire requirement. So during your program, we will work with individual students in assessing what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses, which further will be mapped in the area of your interest where you want to pursue your job into. And according to that, we will further help you understand your strengths and weaknesses with regard to that particular job. So during the program, the strength which you already have, you can enhance that further. And the weaknesses, especially with regard to that particular job, you will have to work more rigorously on that so that by the end of the program, you have all the minimum requirements which are required for you to do that job. Like for sports analytics, analytics is a very crucial part. And if your analytics are not very strong, then maybe that's not a great job for yourself. So these are something which we do through our career advancement cell, who work very closely with the student throughout the program. Charu Gupta, how sports management is helpful in business? I mean, what business I can do in sports? There are a lot of opportunities, Charu. As I was telling you in the beginning, that India is one of the biggest sports manufacturer of sports goods, which are sent across the world. So there are many opportunities, and essentially when we are offering you the program, we cover the entire 360 degree of the sporting requirement, and that will help you understand what kind of business you want to get into, because it also involves finances. Okay, because a big manufacturing unit might cost you a lot of money, but then if you want to prepare or make some games, because gaming industry is also booming in India. So if you want to make us games with respect to some sports, you can do that. You would have seen that IPL has matured of age. Now there are many games which can be played online while IPL is happening. So one of such game which was introduced this year was our great Indian captain, earlier captain MS Dhoni. So there are many opportunities, and during the program, because we also invite industry leaders, you will get to understand a lot of areas which you have not even thought of till now, and that will give you a clearer picture as you come closer to the end of the course, that what you can do. And we are always there. Our relationship does not end when you finish your program. You become an alumni, okay, who will hold the flag of MBA ESG in the industry. So you are most free to come back even at the later stages to revisit some of the courses, to, if you need some help to meet in the industry, you can always, fall back on us, and we'll be more than happy to assist you in whatever way we can. Samir, I would suggest, you visit the website to know more about the curriculum, or you can write into us and we can share you the details of curriculum. But in short, as I said, so curriculum is designed in such a way, not just the curriculum, even the pedagogy, which we have designed, which we follow here for the program, is the important factor there, as I mentioned, is the skill development. So we do not only add the knowledge in the student, but we also concentrate equally to add skill along with the knowledge, which together makes that combination which will help you grow in your career in the industry. Devamalya Datya, is there any in-house campusing after finishing the course? I'm sorry, Mr. Datta, I did not understand your question clearly. Maybe you can write into us or schedule a chat with me, and we can have a one-to-one discussion with regard to this. Mudit Tanwar, hi sir, could you mention about the placements post the course? Yes, Mudit, as I have explained, during my presentation also. So, the opportunities in sports industry are, many. As I said, there is professional sports, sports goods, sports retailing, fitness training, sports tourism, sports medicine, amateur and recreation sports. Okay, so during the program we will assess your need and the skill sets required, and there are various jobs, hot sports jobs, which generally people call. They are like likes of sports analyst, sports PR officer, sports account executive, sports event coordinator, sports development officer, sports officials, sports facility manager, athletic equipment manager. So depending upon your need and skill set and the area of your interest, the placement team here will work with you very closely throughout the program, during the program, and help you achieve what you want to achieve. Frank, average salary would depend also upon your background and the area in which you want to get into. I mean, if you already have any prior work experience in the space, then you obviously get a better salary. No, if you are a fresher, and then it depends where you are going. But all said and done, the analytics, the sports analytics industry does pay quite well. Though I do not have the numbers. Maybe I'll be able to share that little later. Charu Gupta, is it compulsory to visit Paris tour or selected candidates attend the tour? It is very important because, So many other colleges I have seen that when they conduct such tours, a lot of tours end up students doing sightseeing, which is not our aim or intention. So if you see this, the 2 weeks trip which our current students are into, they are meeting the heads and directors of various domains like marketing, analytics, sales, and various other fields in companies like sports24.com, Lagarde, Amazon Deal, Bainsport, VIP Consulting, Decathlon, and so on and so forth. So I would strongly urge that you be a part of this trip. In short, yes, it is compulsory. Because you also get an opportunity to initiate that relationship with all these people. So when you meet these people, you can network with them. There's an opportunity for you to network with them. You can collect their contact details like emails and keep in touch with them and make your discussion interesting. All these companies are also very focused on the Indian market because we are a country with 1.2 billion people, and we are also the country with over 50% of people who are youngest. So yes, and also the fact that the Indian government is also very gung-ho about Khelo India and their various other sports projects which they have launched and are in the process of launching few more, and also not just that, but they are also equally creating sporting facilities by way of outdoor stadiums, indoor stadiums, and whatnot, which the effects of which you have already seen in the past Commonwealth Games. The number of medals which Indians have won have boomeranged to a great number now. Having done my BBA in finance and working with Deutsche Bank in Pune currently, what would be the salary expectation post the program? Rather, it will depend upon what kind of a role you take up. Okay, because sports also involves a lot of sponsorship. Okay, like ground sponsorship, team sponsorship. Okay, and to evaluate the size of this, as I've said, these have grown in numbers. Okay, in 2016, 1,165 crore was the ground sponsorship, size, which grew to 1,337 in 2017, and we are in 2018 now. And also remember, all these numbers was also the time where the demonetization had an effect on the industry. But even with the demonetization, this is the kind of a growth this has seen. Now we have passed the demonetization. Things have settled quite well. Then also GST was included, and GST has also settled quite well now. So these numbers gonna go up like rocket, and you have to just find a place in the rocket. Mudit Tanwar sir, would it be okay if you mention about the organization involved in the placement process? The companies we have contacted, I have I have like 60 companies in my list with whom we have contacted, and we are in touch. But then, as I said, my first batch is of 8 students which we have started. It's only after the end of their program that we will know which companies will these students join. And some of the names, if you wish, I can share the names as well. So apart from your IPLs, ICALs, and all these kabaddi leagues, which are all the famous ones, okay, Some of the other big, recruiters are your PIFA Academy, Pro Tennis, India Tigers, Himalayan Tennis, Ace Tennis Academy, JK Tires, Jain Academy for Sporting Excellence, Rajan Badminton, Pulela Gopichand Academy, SESA Group, SKF Group, Socornova, All India Boxing Federations, BCCI, ICC, Rugby Foundation Union, Indian Olympic Association, Indian Youth Soccer Association, cricket associations of different states like Karnataka, Mumbai, and many other states, Motorsports Association of India, National Tennis Center, ND Heroes Football Private Limited, Yachting Associations of India, ESPN, Star Sports, Star Cricket, Ten Sports, Sony Max, Greenfield, Artificial Turf, Lead Start, Pioneer Sports, Deso Sports Systems, and many more. Charu Gupta, how is this course different from other colleges except the Paris trip? Well, I don't know about the other colleges and what do they offer. Okay, what I can be sure of is the adding of the skill sets part, which usually happens only by way of internships and placements and industry talks and working with the industry leaders. And also doing some live projects for some of these companies. And because our course is vetted by the professionals from sports in India and also from France, we do have the great reach in both the worlds. Okay, I don't see any more questions coming in. Thank you very much for your valuable time spent on understanding our offering. Please feel free to get in touch with us if you wish to meet us individually to understand more about individual cases. We'll be more than happy. My team will assist you, in lining up these calls. This discussion can happen either over a call or you can make a personal visit to our office. But yes, do get in touch fast because the admission process also involves a time. And after you have the offer letters, you might want to process it for the bank loans and start with the program. Thank you very much, and I wish you a great weekend. Thank you very much. All the best, guys. Thank you.